It was a bright and sunny morning when the Thomas family brought their newborn daughter, Lily, home from the hospital. Sarah and Mark, excited but nervous, gently cradled their little bundle of joy as they stepped inside their cozy house. The house was quiet, save for the sound of the wind rustling through the trees outside. Their other beloved family member, Whiskers, a sleek black cat with soft green eyes, was waiting at the door to greet them. She had always been the center of attention, her gentle purring and affectionate nature winning over everyone she met. But now there was a new presence in the house, one that would change the dynamic of their home forever. Whiskers immediately noticed the tiny baby in Sarah's arms, her eyes widening in curiosity. The baby was so small, so fragile, lying in a soft pink blanket, a pacifier gently held in her tiny hand. Whiskers approached cautiously, sniffing the air as if to understand what this new arrival meant. Sarah, sensing the cat's hesitation, bent down to gently stroke Whiskers' head. "Whiskers, meet Lily," she said softly, her voice full of warmth and love. "This is your little sister now." Whiskers mewed softly, her tail flicking in the air. She was wary but intrigued, unsure of how to react to the little human in their home. Mark chuckled and added, "I think she's a little unsure about her new sibling, but we'll give her some time." Over the next few days, the household adjusted to the new rhythms of caring for a newborn. Mark and Sarah took turns caring for Lily, making sure she had everything she needed, while Whiskers continued to observe from a distance. She would sit quietly in the corner of the room, watching as Lily slept in her crib or was rocked gently by Sarah in the living room. The cat would occasionally wander over to sniff the baby's feet, but she kept her distance, unsure how to interact with the tiny creature. But as the days passed, Whiskers began to grow more and more fascinated by Lily. The way the baby cooed and kicked her legs caught Whiskers' attention. Every time Lily cried, the cat would perk up her ears and watch closely, seemingly wanting to know if the baby was okay. One afternoon, as Sarah was sitting on the couch feeding Lily, Whiskers climbed onto the armrest and stretched out beside her. Sarah smiled, running a hand through the cat's soft fur. Whiskers let out a gentle purr, her green eyes never leaving the baby. It wasn't long before Whiskers began showing signs that her bond with Lily was growing. Whenever Lily was placed in her crib, Whiskers would curl up beside the crib, laying protectively on the floor. She seemed to keep watch over the little one, her eyes alert and sharp, always scanning the room. Sarah and Mark noticed this protective instinct and were touched by how attentive the cat was to their daughter. The true test of their bond came one evening when Sarah was preparing dinner. Lily had just woken from a nap, and Sarah had placed her in her bassinet in the living room near the kitchen. Whiskers was lounging in her usual spot on the couch, looking content as she groomed herself. It had been a long, exhausting day for Sarah, and she was momentarily distracted as she chopped vegetables for dinner. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the living room. Sarah's heart skipped a beat as she rushed to the living room, her eyes darting toward Lily's bassinet. To her horror, the bassinet had tipped over, and Lily was on the floor, crying in surprise. Panic surged through Sarah's chest as she dropped the knife and ran toward her daughter. But before she could reach Lily, Whiskers was already there, her sleek black body blocking Sarah's path. The cat had leapt from the couch, moving faster than Sarah had ever seen her move before. She stood over Lily, meowing loudly, her tail flicking in agitation. Whiskers gently nudged Lily's tiny body, coaxing her to stop crying. In that moment, Whiskers wasn't just a cat, she was a protector, fiercely defending the baby from harm. Sarah, frozen in shock, watched as the cat comforted the frightened infant. Mark, hearing the commotion, rushed into the room to find Sarah kneeling beside Lily, her hands shaking as she checked her daughter for any signs of injury. The baby was fine, just startled from the fall, but Sarah couldn't stop trembling. Whiskers, meanwhile, sat nearby, her green eyes wide and alert, watching over Lily like a guardian angel. "Whiskers," Sarah whispered, her voice filled with awe and gratitude. "You saved her." It was then that Sarah fully realized how deeply the bond between Whiskers and Lily had formed. The cat had sensed that something was wrong and had acted instinctively to protect the baby. It wasn't just a passing curiosity or an innocent observation. Whiskers had taken on the role of guardian, watching over the little one as if she understood her vulnerability. As weeks passed, Whiskers continued to watch over Lily with the same protective instincts. She would often be found sitting near the crib, keeping a close eye on the baby as she slept. During nap times, Whiskers would curl up beside Lily, her purring providing a soothing presence that calmed the baby. Sarah and Mark were amazed at the way the two bonded, their hearts swelling with love for both of their children, human and feline alike. But the bond between the two didn't stop at protection. Whiskers seemed to understand when Lily needed comfort too. On more than one occasion, Sarah had watched as the cat would nudge Lily's tiny hand with her nose when the baby was fussing or crying. It was as if Whiskers knew that the baby needed reassurance and would quietly offer her own form of comfort. Sometimes, when Lily would wake in the middle of the night, Whiskers would be the first to hear her cries, trotting into the nursery and sitting beside the crib until Sarah arrived. As Lily grew, so did her relationship with Whiskers. The baby's first smile was directed at the cat, and from that moment, they became inseparable. Lily would giggle and reach out her tiny hands to touch Whiskers' soft fur, and the cat would purr contentedly, accepting the gentle attention. They developed an unspoken understanding, with Lily finding comfort in Whiskers' presence, and Whiskers offering her protection and companionship in return. One day when Lily was just a few months old, Sarah was sitting on the couch, holding the baby in her arms. Whiskers was lounging beside them, her tail flicking lazily. Suddenly, Lily let out a joyful squeal, reaching her tiny hands toward the cat. Whiskers, startled at first, looked up, and for the first time she allowed the baby to gently pet her. Lily's giggles filled the room as Whiskers purred louder, clearly enjoying the affection. It was a moment that would forever be etched in Sarah's heart. The day that her two children, one human and one feline, formed an unbreakable bond. The love between them was pure and beautiful, one that would grow as Lily continued to grow. Through the months and years that followed, the bond between Whiskers and Lily only deepened. Whiskers remained fiercely protective of Lily, watching over her as she took her first steps, as she learned to talk, and as she navigated the world with the curiosity and wonder of a child. No matter where Lily went, Whiskers was never far behind, always there to offer a comforting purr or a watchful eye. And as Sarah watched her two children, one with fur, the other with skin, playing together in the yard, laughing and sharing moments of pure joy, she couldn't help but reflect on the incredible love that had blossomed between them. What had begun as a simple rescue of a baby and a cat had turned into something far more beautiful than she could have ever imagined. A bond that not only protected and comforted but also taught love, loyalty, and compassion. Whiskers, the cat who had once been uncertain of the tiny human in their home, had become Lily's fiercest protector and dearest friend. And for that, Sarah was forever grateful. Their story was a testament to the power of unconditional love, and the bond between a child and a pet that could never be broken.